Hi, I'm Phil. Welcome to this 5-minute power message entitled, Once I Was Religious. Recently, I was joking with my good friend Steve Glovier. Steve reminded me that shortly after college, I had extracted myself from our large circle of friends. He said I got religious on them. He said I'm cooler now. He enjoys watching the power messages, but I'm still religious. I offered Steve a big smile, and I told him that in fact I was not religious. I said I once was, but not now. He said, wait a minute, let me get this straight. Shortly after college, you met a girl, you went to her church, you had some kind of a conversion, and you quit hanging out with us. I said, yes. You got married, you had 3 kids, went to church all the time. I said, yes. 10 years later, you went through a divorce, but you still kept taking your kids to church. I said, yes. You started going to your sister's church. You met Beth. You started dating. I said, yes. 2 years later, you married Beth. You started teaching Bible studies in your home. I said, yes. Last year, you got ordained. You started the Phil Henry Power Gospel. I said, yes. So now, Phil Henry, you're going to tell me that you're not religious. I said, yes. He said, help me. What am I missing? I said, first of all, I will grant you that in the years following my conversion, I was religious and I grew to be very self-righteous. I fasted, I prayed all the time. Nothing wrong with those activities except when you judge others who don't. I was arrogant. I was high-minded. I distinctly remember one young couple at church having marital difficulties. I would say to myself, what's wrong with them? Why don't they just pray, read the Bible, talk to the pastor? Well, when my first marriage began to unravel, I got humbled. I've since learned in life that you'll either be humble or you'll be humbled. I began to realize that Jesus was kind and loving to all people, but he had harsh words toward the self-righteous religious leaders of his day. They were called Pharisees. Well, I had become a Pharisee, so to speak. And as I got humbled in life, the one good thing I did was this. Instead of saying, why God, why me, I said, help God, help me. And during that time, I flushed religion out of my system. I became way less focused on me and on what I did for God, and I became way more focused on Jesus Christ and what he did for me. I began to see religion as man reaching up to God for approval. Look at me, look what I do for you. But true Christianity is not man reaching up, it's God reaching down. And God looking down saying, look at my son, look at what he has done for you. So Steve, once I was religious, but I'm not now. But I'm very much into a relationship with Jesus. And what I do now, whether through power messages or one-on-one conversations with guys, I'm not seeking to gain approval from God. I'm simply showing gratitude for the mercy that he's already granted to me. And by the way, I reminded Steve, remember that after I got humbled, I did apologize to you guys for being a judgmental jerk. And he said, all right, I get it. You're not religious now, but you're into this relationship with Jesus, I see. And he said, hey, maybe this conversation could become a 5-minute power message. I said, great idea, Steve. I might take you up on that. Now, in closing, ask yourself a question. Have you been religious in the sense that you seek God's approval by the things you do rather than just receiving his mercy and being grateful for what he has done? Let me share a Bible story as I close. This is Jesus speaking to his disciples in Luke chapter 18. Here's what he said. 2 men went up into the temple to pray, one a Pharisee and the other a tax collector. The Pharisee stood and was praying this to himself. God, I thank you I'm not like other people, swindlers, unjust, adulterers, or even like this tax collector. I fast twice a week. I pay tithes of all that I get. But the tax collector, standing some distance away, was even unwilling to lift his eyes to heaven, but he was beating on his breast, saying, God be merciful to me, the sinner. Jesus said, I tell you that this second man went to his house justified rather than the first. For everyone who exalts himself will be humbled, but he who humbles himself will be exalted. Yes, once I was religious. Thank God he saved me from myself by himself. And he'll save you too from whatever might be holding you down. Just ask him. He loves you and he loves me more than we can imagine. This has been a 5-minute power message. Once I was religious. Click on the screen to watch other recent power messages. Many more can be found on our website, philhenrypowergospel.org. Hey, please find us on Facebook and like us. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Twitter @PhilHenryPG. We post 4 or 5 power thoughts throughout the day. Until next time, may God bless you and empower you. And remember, I'm not religious.